Were you on MJ watch all last night? Did you actually watch the Tar Heels in Michigan, or were you just trying to see if the jump man was actually at his invitational?
I mean, I assumed going in that he wasn't going to be there. I figured we're lucky. Well, not we're lucky, but I doubt he's even like in the country, much less the state,
I don't know.
So,
Maybe after the Villanova loss in the championship game, he kind of tries to stay away from these things.
I feel like Roy kind of hinted he's superstitious like that.
Mm-hmm.
When they lost that game, there was another game. Like he wasn't at '08 Final Four, but there was another time he was present and they lost, and so he was like, "I'm not doing this." But
CL Brown joining us here on the OG. All right,
I did wear my Jordan 3s in the cool gray though. As a tribute, I'm going into his house. You know what I'm saying?
You gotta pay respect,
so.
just in case. You gotta pay respect. Speaking of coming correct, and I don't want to extract too much out of two games, but I do find it interesting that the Tar Heels, maybe the light bulb is going on, that the book on them last year of being, you could push them around a little bit, like the Jason Capel thing when they lost to Pitt, like, you knock them down, they're not going to get back up, they're weak. I feel like the last two games, maybe the right buttons have been pushed. In one case, it was Hubert Davis calling him out at halftime, Ohio State. And then yesterday, it was quad text? Is that what we had last night?
Yeah.
Where, he got pushed around a little bit. Caleb Love got up, wanted to scrap. I get all that stuff. And that's when things kind of started going for the Tar Heels. I feel like maybe the light bulb's going on, that they got to be tough all the time.
I don't know that it's. I still think that they're a team that sometimes they need a little extra motivation. However it comes, whether it's Hubert calling them soft or something like last night, where there's a little extracurricular going on, but they have to rectify that for sure. Moving forward here, but it almost seems like they kind of coast until they have some reason to be urgent, and so, they definitely need to start bringing that intensity from the beginning. And it's exactly like they talked last year where, they use the phrase, they let somebody else throw the first punch, and coming into ACC play entirely, starting with a road trip to Pittsburgh on the 30th, they're going to have to be the ones that come out swinging.
Mm-hmm.
CL Brown, News and Observer, joining us here on the Heaster Automotive Group hotline. That's Jovius. I'm Joe Giglio. CL, are you surprised at all about how Hubert has managed the bench? I know much was made last year about the Iron Five. This is a whole season, though, and they used 7 guys last night. Not that you need many more than 7, but it does seem like it's a little bit light on the rotation.
I am a little surprised because of last year's experience and because, he talked in the offseason and then even early when the season actually started about, growing the bench and getting guys he could trust to go in the game. And I think when DeMarco Dunn comes back, I felt like he was solidifying himself in the rotation before he got hurt. And we definitely know that Puff Johnson and Seth Trimble, the way that he's used them, that they are definites for the rotation. So that I think 8 is going to be, the clear-cut number. But then when you go past that, there definitely will be spots where a Tyler Nickel, a Dontrez Styles can help you. I'm probably most surprised that Dontrez Styles hasn't factored more into being a consistent player from off the bench, because I just feel like he's athletic. He has the experience from last year when he was able to get in and obviously the big shot in overtime to start that game, to start overtime against Baylor in the tournament. I don't understand why he can't be a consistent guy from off the bench. And then you still have a talent like Jalen Washington, who, since he's come back from his rehab and his knee, he has appeared in every game in these last 4 games. Although these last 2 Ohio State and Michigan games, it's like a minute or 2 really spot duty. But the guys are there to help. You know what I mean? Yeah. That doesn't mean they need to be in the final 4 minutes of a game when you're, it's every possession is deciding a tight game. But, I feel like that they can help. And I'm surprised that it's taken this long to kind of figure out how to work them in consistently.
You've covered the league long enough to know, like, you see that backcourt minutes 38, 35. That's like Coach K stuff, man.
Yeah.
That's not anything we're used to seeing at Carolina.
No.
Yeah, and it seems like it's going to continue because to this point, he hasn't really changed his pattern. He hasn't gotten away from it.
Yeah, and I actually give him credit for coaching the team and running the program the way that he wants to run it. It would be easy to do what Dean did, be easy to do what Roy did. But, I actually think that's one of the things that differentiates him.
Well, I think he's also, this is the second year. I think he's figuring it out, on the fly. But I do think that they really need to get into that extended defense and full court pressure and trap. Not to say that they're going to do it, a full 40 minutes and
this might be who they are, though.
40 minutes of hell, but yeah, I think it could be. I think
kind of who they
it's
are.
Definitely worked when they've used it against Virginia Tech to come back from down 18. When they use it against Ohio State to come back from down 11 and tie that game and send it into overtime. I mean, they have the bodies, they have the athletes, they can do that. It's just a matter of finding and working your way into actually doing it and trusting that when you're bringing those guys in from off the bench that you can get away with having them out there for extended minutes.
Well, he hasn't played. I mean, the knock on Hubert is he doesn't play his players, right? The guys he recruited. I mean, we can't count Baycott, Davis, and Love as guys, or Leakey.
Yeah,
who's going to retire soon. And then Nance out of the portal. It's just one of those things that, and I'm sure it was a hater who brought it up to me. It might have just been a Carolina fan because they hate everything about themselves. But I just don't understand. Like Nickel should play, Tremble should play.
Sure.
17 minutes. They should have bigger. Puff playing 21 minutes. I know we saw that, and he's been dealing with an injury, right, Puff?
I think he's straight now.
Okay.
He had, been dealing with it, but I feel like Tremble is like, I don't think he needs much more than 18 minutes a game. I think that's kind of his wheelhouse. But you look at somebody like Nickel, he's not even getting that much.
Yeah.
And I feel like he can help. But also I do point the finger back at Nickel. When he's in, he has to, like that Ohio State game, he had 2 open threes that he missed. I mean, you're supposed to be the scorer. You get a chance. You got to make it happen when you're in the game.
CL Brown, News and Observer, joining us here on the OG. We got about 30 seconds. I understand the concept is to get it to Armando Baycott. This is something that Hubert Davis has openly talked about coming out of those road trips. Is it as simple as that, though? I mean, is it a matchup issue? Is it Baycott's health? Is it making sure that, is this a Caleb Love matter? Like, hey, Caleb, don't go and play hero ball all the time. What is it with this focus on Baycott that was missing earlier that we're seeing now?
Well, I think it's twofold. I think Armando didn't come out, whether it was, I was trying not to point to NIL this summer and all the opportunities he had and everything that got him away from basketball.
Sure.
But I kind of felt like maybe he didn't come into the season with the kind of focus that he needed. And early on, I didn't feel like he was aggressive enough. But, I think these last 4 games, it's clear to me that the offense works best when it's going through him. And they also got away from they were heavier on ball screens doing those 4 game losing streak. They've kind of gotten away from that since then, and it's helped with the movement, and guys aren't stagnant and just standing around on offense. So I do think it's that simple, though. I think it's that simple as Baycott is your number 1 option, and everything else flows through him.
As Giglio ranted earlier, sometimes when your best players are your best players, it's amazing what happens.
Sidney Lowe
for the Tar Heels. CL, man, we appreciate it. Have a good Christmas. We'll talk to you later.
All right, you as well. Thank you, guys.